Hey guys, this is MinecraftingDAD, and welcome to episode 10 of our Minecraft FTB Regrowth Modpack series. This modpack is available on the FTB Launcher, and information on how to download the pack is available in the video description below. So what is our plan? Let me give you guys a little bit of an update on what we've done since the last time you were here. The base looks a lot different than the last time you've seen it. I've done some major expansions when it comes to crops, and you can see, well, let me give you a little bit of a tour, and let's see what we got here. We'll go around and we'll give you a little bit of a grand tour. So on this side of this new building that you've never seen before, we have all the regular crops. So this is our wheat fields, we've got carrots, we've got belladonna, we've got potato seeds, we've got the barley, we've got the cotton seeds, we've got melon seeds. What is this guy over here? Blackberries, a crop that's ready to go for our crossbreeding. So I have like here with one agricultural stick, and then on this one I've got two. So like for example, if I want to breed, I put my original crop here and here, and whatever it's going to breed is going to end up going there. So I've got four of those stations set up, as you can see. And then here, for example, I want to show you sort of how this works. So, if you put yellow and blue together, you end up getting these white daisy flowers. Then, for example, if you do red flowers with blue, you get these purple ones. And also, like, you could do the purple seeds in the yellow, and that gets you pink ones. And if you do the blue with the pink, it gets you other types of blue ones. The reason why I got into doing all this different crossbreeding is I started to try to figure out how can I get the Botania mystical crops faster, because if you look at the quest book, what's required is for us to turn in a whole bunch. Let me just actually grab this here. So what we do is we have to turn in a whole bunch of these things. This floral gray powder for one essence of tin, it wants 16 floral light gray powders. For the iron, it wants 16 gray powders. For the copper, it wants 16 orange powders. And then for the carbon, and this is coal seed, it wants 16 black powders. So if you start adding that up and what it actually takes in order to create a seed, it is a lot of work. So you know, I can certainly go over here, and I'll just give you a little bit of an example. We can certainly come over here, and we could take a piece of this floral fertilizer, and, you know, we can go over here, and we can do this, and then we get a couple crops, and, you know, then from there, we can go in here and make the flowers, which there you go. Well, I can also do the same thing with the magical crop, because once you get the mystical seed that you want, this is the same exact crop, all I do is right click it, and there you go. I've automatically got one of those seeds, except for now I can grow a larger area and only get the ones that I actually need, instead of getting, you know, randomized ones that who knows. I can kind of control the output. So that's the result of that. The other part that I learned was, in these things, you need a ton of this weak essence. Well, if you look at the recipe for weak essence, you can see, well, if I learn how to spell, weak essence is those little balls right there. So in order to get those, you need to make essence dust. Essence dust comes from magical crops. Well, what I realized was we need a ton of this. So I expanded this entire side over to be magical crops. So yeah, this is all magical crop fields, and then I'll show you, for example, that I've got some really strong seeds in here. Let me see where my starter seed is. So from here, right, this seed right now is a 5, 6, 9. So let's take a look at some of these other seeds that we've made inside of here, and you can see I've got some 7, 6, 8s. I've got some, you know, 6, 5, 8s. I got 7, 8, 10s. And the numbers, what they actually mean is the strength of the seed. So this will grow eight times as fast as a 1, 1, 1. It's got more strength, which means for breeding and stuff like that. So that's currently what I've got, is all these crops, and I've got a whole bunch more here because very shortly we're going to end up getting the iron seed, the coal seed, and then we're going to use those over here. I also have this one called Nature Essence. This one gets you these little guys here, which is useful for some recipes. And then of course this, which is the Essence of Ender, and this is amazing. If we grab 8 of these, let's grab 8. Grab 8 of these guys and go to our crafting table. These are amazing because 8 of them will give you 4 ender pearls. And you know, anything with power, anything to do with mid-game stuff, you're going to need a ton of these ender pearls. So let's put those, let's find a spot to make ender pearls. We'll kind of put it right above the essence. And you can see this is my magical crop wall. At this point I started to gather, and I've got a whole bunch of the weak essence. I've got tons and tons of the essence dust. And in order to convert the essence dust, we need to find this guy, the weak infusion stone. And let's convert over a couple stacks of this into what we need here. So we'll grab these guys and we'll make some of the weak essence. As you can see, I've got 32 pieces, and that's going to help us in creating these crops. So let's go take a look and see which ones of these we can actually turn in at this point. So I think we do have enough stuff. I did work as well on getting some of these, so you can see, I'll show you for example. I already have 4 essence of iron, I have 3 essence of copper, I have 3 essence of coal, I have 2 essence of tin. So I've done a lot of the behind the scenes work to get us kind of up to speed. I also found in the process some stuff in the botanical thing. So I found one of these guys. It's called a Hydrangeus, and if I take a look at this, I'll show you something. This is really cool. So what a Hydrangeus is, it might even be better if I grab our book over here. I'll show you what this is all about. So in order to see Hydrangeus, let's actually shift click on that. And it might not be able to see this here. Let me make it so you can see the screen a little better. So Hydrangeus, while passive mana generation can be easy achieved through day blooms, different meanings of doing so might become handy. The Hydrangeus will suck up any still water in a 3x3 area around it on the same height, creating mana from it. They also seem to function faster during rain. Who would have thought? So it gives you a little bit of an illustration on how this works. Well, I looked at that illustration and I came up with a, let me get my video back to normal because it drives me nuts. We'll go large. It drives me nuts when it's not the way I like it here. But so I've came up with a similar pattern, and what I did is I created this little L shape, and I let these guys go for a while, and you can see they are completely filled with mana, both of them. And the only problem is I need to put a mana spreader above these guys in order to shoot it into this mana pool. So let's create ourselves another of those, which is a mana spreader. I think I have everything I need in order to create this. So we'll just borrow a flower. Let's make ourselves another mana spreader. So how we do that here is just like this, and one flower. Oh, did I miss one? I think I missed one. That's okay. We'll come over here and we'll grab one more piece of living wood, and we'll finish off this recipe. There you go. So there we go. There's another mana spreader. Next thing, let's put our book back. I don't think we need that now. Nice convenient spot for it. Let's find a home for this guy. I think what we'll do is we'll put it, I don't want to put it like right on top of it. Maybe we'll put it right here. And then we'll shoot this into that spot. So grab that. Oh. Is it pointing in there? I can't tell. Alright, there we go. So now that's pointing in there, and if we look at these flowers, that one's draining. Is this one draining? Why is that one not draining? So you can see how it's kind of sucking up the water every couple seconds. This is actually generating mana by this infinite water pool, which is crazy. And it's basically drinking the water. I don't know why this one's not working. Maybe we gotta break this one and put them back down again or something. And if this one's working and draining, you would think this one would be too. Let's see. Yeah, you can see they're both drinking from the infinite water pool, which is really kind of cool way to generate mana. We also have our day blooms and night blooms. There's endotherms, which are a flower that'll eat like coal or anything consumable. There's a whole bunch of different ways to generate mana, but we're going to need as much of this as we can possibly come up with when we go to make the next quest. So let's get started and get ourselves into the metal age, as you say. You know, when you go in Sky Factory and you get out of the wood age and you get into stone age, this is equivalent to that. So let's see, which one do we want? I think the copper is the one that we started with first. Let's look at what is it going to take in order for us to get the copper seed. Let's take a look at that recipe and we'll go from there. So copper seed. So here we go. So this is going to take 4 copper essences, a magical essence seed, and 4 of the little weak essences. And then we could create this on top of the runic altar, which means that we need more living rock. Okay, we do have some living rock, so we're good there. We do need some essence seed. Let's go grab some of that out of here. So we're prepared to do this. We need up here, I think I have a whole bunch of 111 seeds, so we'll just use these. Bring that over to the runic altar, and we should be good to go. So let's get that in here. Actually, we'll keep it on our inventory. We do need 1 more copper essence, so let's take a look at that recipe and see. It wants us to do 16 clay, and how much clay do I have in here? I have 10 clay. Well, this is the cool thing too. In order to make more clay, all I do is take sand and I stick it next to this clay conia. So you just, all I do is place this in here, and it instantly turns into, you can't really see it, but instantly turns into clay because this guy turns sand into clay. So now we have plenty of clay in our inventory. Actually 15 pieces. I think we need 16, so let's grab a couple more. Alright, there we go. We now have 16 pieces of clay. And the last item on there we need is 16 floral orange. We have 26. And we have the weak essence. We have all the different components we need to make this. So, let's turn in that quest. Awesome. So, now at this point, we can then grab our 3 copper essence, and we can start beginning to build this guy, which is... we should be able to look at that in our NEI. So copper seed, we should be able to build this, which is 4 copper essence, 1, and put this on top of the runic altar. So let's do that. So all we need to do here is have these guys in our inventory, just like so. And how many pieces of the weak essence was it? 4. So 4, 4, and 1, right? So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 essence. And then to seal the deal, all we need to do is point our magical wand in function mode, and you can see now it's showing us that it is able to make the item. So we're in the process of, you could see the little bar on the screen. It's kind of hard to see, but it's in the process of now making this essence seed, which is awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that to finish, but while that's working, we're going to do a couple different things. We're not going to stand here and watch it go, but we will grab our living rock for when the time comes. we'll be able to just, do what we need to do and not have to stand there and wait. We can also redirect. If we want to direct this mana spreader to the runic altar, it's going to make it run faster. So let's do that. Now we've got both of those items pointing at the runic altar, and you should see a significant increase in the speed at which this completes. But like I said, we're going to go and accomplish something else while this is working. And I'm going to get back to my original story was, we know which items we need. We know which mystical petals that we need for our quest. So if we know that, let's look at those specific items. So for example, we can go back in NEI and we can say that here, mystical. Now we can look at the one which was the black, which we said it was a combination of blue and cactus, and that's going to give us our black. So what we did is we combined, well, we needed to make cactus first. Okay, so in order to make cactus, let's go look at that again. So in order to make cactus, it needs to be a combination of sugarcane and poppy, and then you have a chance to get cactus. So if we didn't get cactus in here, we need to break these guys, and we need to replant it again, because there's only a slight chance that you get a breeded crop. It's not a guarantee. You could also get the combination of those guys. Actually, let's break this guy. This will increase our chances now that we end up getting the correct seed, because what happened was this one and the other one created another sugarcane seed. But with this here, it's the poppy seed. Let's go back and make sure we're looking at the right thing. It's a poppy seed and a sugarcane should make a cactus seed. So let's do this. Let's actually create a second instance of this. We'll borrow this poppy seed from here, and we'll go over here. Let's borrow a piece of dirt from inside. Okay, let's make a second instance, because, I'd rather leave it so that we get this sooner than later. So let's just make this happen. And we'll throw that down here. Where's our poppy? There it is. Boom. And then we get rid of these two. Now these become breeding spots. And we'll get rid of the cross crop there too. So there we go. So now we've got 2 chances for this to happen in order for us to get the seed that we need. So that's the start. Let's go check on our runic transformation. You know it's done by the fact that it'll end up having lightning near it. We're about 3/4 of the way done, so good thing there. Let's also check on the other seeds that we're going to need. Let's go distribute some of this stuff into our storage. We've got a ton of seeds now that we don't know what to do with. So let's just throw these in here. All this sugarcane seeds. We've got an ender seed. All this other stuff. Let's just get this out of our inventory. We put some of this up on the wall here. The blue seed. Let's throw that in here. And let's just get this stuff stored away so we know where it's located here. Let's put the infusion stone up there so we know where it's at. We've got sugarcane here. It's just good to have a system. At some point, it's almost going to become second nature to kind of keep this stuff somewhat organized. So, it's good to try to get this down now and then have places for everything, because you can see it's very easy to get, confused. And look, did we get it? Oh, sugarcane. Come on. Now we got a couple chances here for this to happen. We can use bone meal on that as well. Alright, so that's working. Let's go back and see how close this guy is. Should be pretty darn close to finishing up. And while that's working, let's take a look at our next one. So we know it's gray and dark gray and orange, right? So let's see, what does orange take? Orange is a combination of yellow and red, so that's not going to be an easy one until we get yellow or red. The grays is a combination of black and white, and the light gray is a combination of gray and white. So white is an important one that I think we should probably look at that. So white is a combination of white tulip and a daisy. Do we actually have those things? So I know we have a daisy, and then we need a white tulip. Do we have anything on a white tulip yet? I don't think we do. So let's look at that. So we got this one here is a white seed. The white tulip is a combination of a daisy and yellow. So we do have a daisy here, and we need a yellow seed. So we have an extra one here. Let's grab that, and let's just start using this. So yellow and daisy. So we're going to basically crossbreed these two in order to get the other white seed that we need. So once that grows, we should be able to get this guy. So if we crossbreed those two, we should get this mystical white flower. So that's a start. There you go. You can see this is now ready to go. So how do we complete the runic transformation and get our first copper seed? Well, throw one piece of living rock and hit it with the wand of the forest. And as you can see, we now have ourselves our first copper seed, and we are in the metal age. We are in the metal age. Yes, I'm doing a dance. You can't see it, but let's make it see. We are in the metal age. We are in the... Yeah, never mind. So, let's turn this quest in. And there it is. Okay, so 100% rewards are more copper seeds. And pick one. Copper seeds or weak essence. Well, what do you think I'm going to pick? Alright, so let's go over here and let's get this guy planted. So our first little farm here is copper, copper, copper. Alright, so there you go. We're going to do this, I think, in order to keep the brevity of our episodes somewhat short here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end this episode, and then we'll pick up in episode 11 with the iron seed. So let's see here. What is our plan? Well, guess what? You're going to have to wait until the very next episode. So like, subscribe, or leave a comment below. And you can also watch these recordings being done live on Twitch TV. It's twitch.tv/MinecraftingDAD. Thank you, and see you next time. And I do invite you to come over and hang out with us live on Twitch, because that would be awesome. Make sure to come by, stop by, and say hello. Thanks, and see you next time.